The Board of Education regular meeting here on May 13th. Mr. Cook, call the roll. Present. If we could, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation by Mr. Owen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this beautiful day that we've had. We thank you so much for all those that are going to be recognized and are able to be here with us tonight and the safe travels they all had. Just guide us tonight as we do the business at Husky Valley. In Jesus' name, amen.
Dr. Bransky, is there any additions or corrections?
There are not. And if you would like a copy of the agenda, there are some over here on the table.
Thank you. Number 2, our mission statement and Board of Education goals. Dr. Bransky, is there any public participation this evening?
There is not.
Okay. We will move down to Roman numeral number 4, the superintendent report.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Gooding, and welcome everybody. To start off tonight, I'm going to welcome Mr. Jason Phillips to come and do our student supplement.
Okay, I think it's just a student.
A student. Okay.
So I do know, okay, so I'll talk about a little bit. So Tegan Pukowski was last month's, one of our student months last month. He's track meet tonight, as well as Landon Burwell, who was also in this month. He's with me. Ricky, Logan McKinney, is at baseball right now. He was the athlete of the month this year. Jay Stigman, who is the student of the month for hard work. I'm not sure where Jason's. I thought he was in there. So that's a quick rundown on all that, and I'll invite Sarah Warren up. She's already snuck up here. So Sarah is the fine artist of the month. She is a senior. She's the daughter of Scott and Heidi Warren of Dover. Her activities include, obviously, she's in band. She's in the marching band, the concert band, jazz band. She also played soccer on the varsity girls soccer team, and she's part of the Project Lead the Way engineering club. Her hobbies include playing tennis, running, reading, and working at Bueller's Bakery, which is, I did not know, which is kind of cool. And after graduation, she plans to major in chemical engineering and attend the University of Minnesota.
Congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right, the next item under my report is the Trojan Pride Award. So every few months, the Board of Education will recognize an individual or individuals who makes an outstanding difference to the Husky Valley community. So this month, we are proud, and on behalf of our Board of Education, to bestow the Trojan Pride Awards to the members of the Trojan Foundation. So before I introduce them up there, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Trojan Foundation. They exist for the purpose of scholarships, and they make sure that our graduating seniors, that they're getting money to help them pay for college or trade school or whatever might come next in their endeavors. And then, of course, November came, and we had the accident on November 14th. And November 15th, within an hour, several board members were with me in the office, and the money just started pouring in from all over the place. And I worked with Mrs. Amy Berger, who's Vice President of our board, who also sits on the Trojan Foundation. And I said, do you think that the Trojan Foundation would be interested in being the fiscal agent of these funds? And at first she quickly said, no, that's not what we exist for. And I said, well, we have to find somebody. And after making a few calls to members of the Trojan Foundation, they, without knowing really what they were getting themselves into, they quickly said yes, whatever we needed. And so before I introduce them individually, I just want to publicly say how much I appreciate each member. They got on into this to give out scholarships, not to handle these kinds of funds and deal with these difficult situations and have hard conversations. And so truly on behalf of our district, thank you for stepping up. And when we couldn't take in money and get it out to families, we were able to. With that being said, they had to change their bylaws And so they had a lot of work behind the scenes to be able to operate their 501c3 in a way that they could give money out. Lots of hard conversations. They were meeting at least once a week in person, if not a couple times a week, and constantly communicating with each other. For the families most affected, they were having personal one-on-one conversations. They were traveling, and that all took them away from their own families and their own responsibilities and their own jobs. And so, again, they've done more behind the scenes than anybody possibly could even know. And because we've had a little bit of a closer seat to that, and we know the work that they're doing, we just felt we needed to publicly recognize you for the work that you're doing there.
Dr. Bransky, I also wanted to share that just on behalf of the entire board, just a big thank you for stepping up and taking on that monumental task. It was difficult and often a thankless job, but you were willing to give your time and efforts, and for that we really thank you. And it's our hope and prayers that you or any other organization will never have to do this again.
And again, just because we have a public audience and this is being recorded, if there's any questions about the funds that has come in and gone out, please follow. You can visit their website. You can follow their social media pages. They've been very transparent as far as what they've done with that money. They've given a lot of it out, and they've also explained in their letters the amount that's left and kind of what they're doing, all to serve students and make sure that our students here are being taken care of and our families are being taken care of. So thank you. So I'm going to call you guys up one by one, and we have a plaque here. So we'll call you up one by one so that everybody knows who you are, and then we'll keep you all up here to do a picture. So first up, Mr. Kyle Hall. Mrs. Amy Berger is not with us tonight. Mr. Chad Markle. Mrs. Lauren Marburger. Mr. Caleb Sachs. Mrs. Amber Swick. Ms. Rhonda Price. Ms. Brooke Yeager. Anything that you wanted to share or say? You don't have to, but...
Yeah, I just want to say on behalf of the foundation, my name is Kyle. I'm the president, and this group of people have been nothing but family. I feel like we've been challenged since November. We've met every week, and over talking with them, coming up with creative solutions to help families here in the district. I can speak, every one of us loves this district. So the board is of Tusky Valley, even though we're not directly Tusky Valley nonprofit, we are closely related. So we are the best nonprofit that could accept the funds. And I think this team's done a great job just creatively thinking as a board. Is a huge team effort. We divvied out tasks every single week to make this happen. So we also can't be here today without the donors. So those came locally, those came nationally. We were very thankful. Those are the true heroes in this situation. If we can offer an ounce of hope to the district in this situation, it was the donors. So we just were responsible stewards. That's all we did. But that being said, I think that's all that we have. Thank you.
Okay, don't move. We're going to four women step forward, 2 and 2, and then the boys in the back. And then make a group picture, okay? You're going to turn a little, and the boys are going to clean up, okay? That way we can see everything. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3, smile.
I'm sure I know the reason he was late. He's a student of the month, Jay Stigman, for hard work and determination. So I'm assuming he was working hard at something we talked about today, and he kind of looked at me like I was a little crazy when I said hard work and determination. I reminded him that it's not always about academics and classroom work. He works very hard in a lot of areas, especially the musical and those kind of things. So he's super fun to watch. He's a senior, the son of Angie and Dan Digman, and his activities include select choir, drama, speech, and he's part of our Hope Squad. And his hobbies include creating art, acting, and singing. And after graduation, he plans to go into Nashville to pursue a career in acting. Pretty cool.
Congratulations, Jason.
Thank you.
All right, and the final item under my report is the introduction of our facility dollars here at Tuskegee. So to back up and go back to the Trojan Foundation, not only have they been managing the funds that have been donated across the state, across the nation, but they've also been helping with the Adams Board. The Adams Board was able to provide a set of funds, I believe through the governor's office, and what they've been doing is they've been holding on to that money, and that's been paying for counseling and different things that our students need in the school and as a whole. And so with that, Natalie Boland, the executive director of the Adams Board, is here with us. And Mr. Phillips and I were actually together visiting a family in late November, and she called me and said, Dr. Bransky, would the district have any interest in facility dogs? And I said, well, I'd like to know more, but my initial response is yes. And that began a few months worth of dialogue, and now we are pleased that this is going on week 2 of having Hank, which is a golden doodle located in the elementary, and Yickety Yak, a golden doodle located in the middle high school. Those 2 dogs' funds were donated. We were able to get those dogs here. The handlers are our district staff. They've gone through quite a bit of training. And really already just 1 week here, and you can already see a difference in kids' faces and how excited they are, and how excited staff are. And so I'm going to start by asking Natalie Boland to talk about maybe a little bit of behind the scenes on how this came to be. And Senator Landis is with us as well. I think he had something to do with it as well. And then we'll get the dogs up here so that everybody can see them.
Well, I will make this quick because I know that I'm just the standing between you and the dogs at this point. I was able to be at Tuskegee Valley on November 15th, and I saw the bodies and the humans that came in to provide support and to do outreach to the students, and then I saw the dogs come in. And for every dog, there were about 15, 20 kids wrapped around the dogs waiting for a chance to pet them, waiting for a chance to get close to them, and they would smile. In a day where it felt like there was nobody, nobody found the smile. And as the dogs went through the buildings and at the different events, it was consistent over and over. The dogs were what these kids needed. And so as I drove away, excuse me, that first day, I called Senator Landis on the way home and I said, can you help me out? I want to do something to help this school. There's going to be a lot happening over the next couple weeks. And he said, let me think about it, let me know what you need, and then I'll get back to you. We'll touch base again. And I think maybe a half an hour later, maybe 45 minutes later, he can fill it in. I was also a little preoccupied at the moment. He called me back and said that he was sitting with the owner of the R.J. Smucker Foundation, and that they had a lot of connections and they wanted to be able to help out in some way. And I said, well, how about therapy dogs? And then lo and behold, the Smucker Foundation had some connections to therapy dog companies. And so they gave us some names. We sat down with Tuskegee Valley staff and did some interviews of the different organizations that had therapy dogs. And Tuskegee Valley went with what I think was a really great fit and a really good philosophy of how dogs were incorporated into students' lives and school buildings. So I was really just the conduit. None of this would have happened if Senator Landis had not answered that phone call and then made that facilitation. So I couldn't be more pleased for you and for the district and for all the work that you've done to get to where you are today. Thank you.
Yes, Natalie, Senator Landis, thank you so much. So one of those companies, or really foundations or nonprofits, was called Canine Assistance out of Atlanta, Georgia. And probably within 30 seconds of the call, I think our entire team knew this is it, this is who we're supposed to partner with. And so our next step was they told us we had to find handlers. In elementary was a little easier. Lisa Owen, who will come up in just a moment, has been having therapy dogs come into her classroom for years. And so for us, and Andrea Clements, the principal, and I, just quickly, she became top of our list. And then we went to the middle high school. We thought we knew who was going to be at the middle high school, and that person said no. And then it was a whole list of people that we went through, and next thing I know, Jason had asked my wife, and she agreed to it. Because I was pretty quick to say I didn't want one. So Heidi and Lisa, if you want to come up, and Beth and Jason, if you want to come up as well as the secondary handlers.
If you went down, come up and have a picture with you We're gonna move these two in with you guys today. Chances of getting the dog is pretty slim, okay guys? So you just all smell and sit, ready? Maybe we got it. Don't.
Oh, wait, stay there.
Hey, come back.
Hey.
You guys want to share anything about the training?
It was more emotional than I expected. Yeah, it was. You want to talk? You just say something. You say that. You say that.
Sorry. So you're so it was, I'll go add on a little bit to Dr. Bransky's story about me asking Heidi to be the lead handler. And part of it was when we had our meeting with the canine assistants, they very much talk about they're not dogs, they're not pets. They're very much like four-legged people that have a gigantic purpose. And so they're with them all the time for the most part. And so as I went through the building asking people who I know love dogs, they're like, I have 2 kids, we do this, we're here, we're there, we're this. And it just was kind of the same story. Everyone thought it was a great idea. No one really could commit to the amount of time and effort and everything it takes. So I went to Heidi and I was like, Heidi, I got a great idea. And so as people would know, I am not like, I'm a much better this kind of dog fan than a normal dog fan. Like I had literally in December talked about a story of our little puppy that got hit and I was a human Hoyer lift for 2 weeks because I couldn't do anything, and how my wife decided instead of having an empty nest that we would have a new puppy. And I was so excited about it. So it's kind of funny. So she ends up being the lead handler, and then no one really else wanted to do it. I'm like, great, I'll do it. And we got down there, and it was completely, the amount of, like, just the way the dogs are, and the way they took care of the dogs, and the way they educated them. So they're not trained. That's one of the things that they talked about. They don't train dogs, so neither one are trained how to sit. If you could tell them to sit 50 times, they're not going to sit. But if you say, I need a hug today, Hank will give you a hug just like that. Like that's just how they are. So you talk to them like people, you don't tell them what to do, which I thought was pretty cool. And then as the week went on, obviously I really got to both of them. And maybe a third one, which is a whole other story. But they're pretty cool dogs, and the whole situation the whole time was fun. We were a little bit of a different group. There were also two young adults that were there with special needs that were getting a different type of dog that was specific to what they needed for seizures and things like that. And then there was a retired military vet who was there for his companion, because he had one for 12 years and it passed away, and he was there to get his second from the same company. So learned a lot from them, and just they're pretty cool dogs. And, I was a little skeptical at the high school, like how are they going to be with it, but it's amazing. Like, honestly, the staff is great. The kids like go out of their way to make sure they can get over and just pet Yix and say hi for a second. So it's been pretty cool. Awesome. So thank you, Senator Landis, and everyone. Awesome.
Thank you, guys. And with that, Dr. Morrow, I forget the name of her vet, it's the mobile vet services, is that her? She has agreed to sort of be the district's vet, because while the dogs are still owned by Canine Assistance, they're registered to Heidi and Lisa while they are here. But during the day, the school hours, their vets are on there to be considered employees. And so we would treat them like we do any other employees. And so Dr. Morrow has agreed that she would come on site to be the vet on behalf of the district and make sure that they're healthy and everything looks good. And so she'll be literally checking in. She was here last Friday, pulled up her van right out in front of the building. The dogs went out and they had their checkup, their first checkup. So we're thrilled for partnerships like that. Again, the Trojan Foundation has been very good. The money coming from the Adams Board side of it allowed to help cover the cost of travel and training for the four of them to go down, and also getting some initial things here that we need to do. So again, thank you for handling that side of it as well.
Well, again, we as a board want to thank everyone involved, and especially the sponsors and all of the volunteer handlers for stepping up to do this for our students and staff and others as needed, because this might go, if needed, as we travel the show. But I never thought that I'd ever say that Tusky Valley has gone to the dog. But in this case, it's all good, so thanks again.
Any questions about the dogs or anything else in my report? All right, Mr. Commissioner, that was my report.
Thank you, Dr. Bransky. Now we will move on to item Roman numeral 5, the board member report, and we have Mrs. Sally Brady.
First of all, I'd like to thank those who have helped support to get the dogs and those who have been willing to step up and do that. Natalie and Senator Landis, we can always count on you for our school district, and I just thank you so much. I know it's been said, but personally, thank you. And to the Trojan Foundation, individually and as an organization, thank you, each one of you, because it was very difficult for all of us. And to be able to call you and you step out of your circle to surround us is what our community does, and you went above and beyond, so thank you so much. And now to my business report. We had Legislative Day, which I visited with Senator Landis, and then we also had BLI, Board Leadership Institute, where the board just gets to network and do learning sessions, and it was a wonderful event. And we had a wonderful day. Both days were wonderful and had great turnout. The next event will be June 27th, and that's where we're going to have the future of public education. We will be reviewing with superintendents and board members those things that are coming down into the future of education, so we can be proactive rather than reactive. And some of the areas of what kind of workmanship and leaders we need in the future. AI, vouchers, how that will impact our public school systems, and other issues. And so I would remind you to put those on your calendar. And those are mine for now.
Well, we will be going down to Columbus.
Yes, at the Ohio School Board Association. It is virtual as well, but if you are virtual, you can't have much discussion and be able to be much of a spokesperson for ideas in the brainstorm. So please come down.
Thank you, Mrs. Green. Now we'll move on to Roman numeral 6, the new business consent agenda. And I believe this is for Roman numeral 6A, 1 through 19. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make it. I'll make a motion.
Okay, Mrs. Johnson moved. Do I have a second? Mr. Overton, second. Discussion.
I do have some discussion tonight. I want to first thank, okay, can I go first?
You go first.
All right. I want to congratulate all the graduates that are coming on June 2nd down the walkway. We are so proud of each and every one of you, and we look forward to you all coming. A special honors to the summa cum laudes, magna cum laudes, and cum laudes. It's an honor, and I know it's hard work to meet those requirements. So congratulations to each of those students. One comment I would like to make is that on number 10, the out-of-state trip for cross-country team. I feel like this is a last-minute event, and I would have preferred this been on an earlier event that we could have had more discussion before we voted on it. So in the future, if any of these teams are going to go on events, I'd like to hear about it a little sooner, and I know Derek in our notes and updates, you talked about that. And then number 9, the resignations. We have 3 wonderful employees that has surrounded our school for many years. And it is with sadness, but congratulations that you are going to be entering the retirement field, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time in retirement. You'll be busier than you are now, I can just guarantee it. So that's mine. Thank you.
Before I do mine, you covered some of mine, but is there any other comments from the other board members?
You covered what I was going to say.
All right, but I did want to mention up under item number 2. This board is always thankful for all donations, no matter what the amount. And it shows many people believe in and care for our district. I was so thankful to see the Hope Squad get some help, especially for how much good that group does for the student body here at Tusky Valley. And again, we certainly want to thank the Stomp Company for, first of all, offering to come to our school. And then not only to put on a performance, but a workshop for our students. And I'm sure they have served as a motivation for some to consider the arts, not only while here in school, but possibly later on for a career. And I want to mention publicly that the Tusky Valley Ruritan Club has always been a strong supporter of the school over the years, and not only for the help with the speech students going to the Nationals this year, but this year for the first time, the club gave out 5 $1,000 scholarships to 5 deserving graduating seniors. And tomorrow evening, at their May dinner meeting, they'll be presenting Employee of the Year awards to 2 deserving individuals. So we really appreciate all the support our school receives, not only from the Ruritan Club, but from all community organizations that do this. And then on the down here, again, I just want to say that our board is always proud of each student selected over the years as Student of the Month, and we thank them for doing a great job. But I'm personally, I'm going to tag on to Sally's comment, I'm exceptionally proud of this list of graduating seniors that will be graduating with honors as noted. To have this many is a testament not only to the quality of the individuals noted, but the support they receive from our wonderful teachers as well as their parents. And I just want to congratulate, offer congratulations to each of them. And those are my comments. So if there's no other ones, we will proceed to voting.
Can I make a comment?
Yes,
I think you've hit a bunch of them, but item 6, we're thrilled that we are bringing in some new staff. So the first is Mr. Jeremy Taylor. If Jeremy, if you would just stand quickly. Jeremy will be coming on board as our high school counselor and also head varsity football coach. So welcome to Tusky Valley, and thanks for being here tonight. And Jordan Morhart will be coming on board to teach 3rd grade, and so we welcome Jordan as well. So thanks for being here tonight. And with that said, again, I'm super appreciative of the donation. When Stomp told us that they were giving us $4,000, we split between the 3 student groups. That none of us expected that, and so that was greatly appreciated. And then I'm going to echo Mrs. Green's comments on number 9, the resignations for retirement. All 3 individuals I have known since I was a student here, and so these are tough people, along with the others that have already turned in their notice of retirement. But we have a group leading that we were going to be doing this. And then finally, again, just publicly, congratulations to our students for
Phillips, call me.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Overton? Yes. Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Ritter?
Yes. Okay, Roman numeral number 7, approve the 5-year forecast and related assumptions as prepared by Treasurer Mark A. Phillips. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mrs. Johnson moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Green, second. I think from a discussion standpoint, we had 19 pages explaining this, and it took a while to get through that, but I got through it. But was there any other questions from the board for Mr. Phillips?
No, I mean, I'll just reiterate what I put out in my email. Again, the district is in a very positive financial position, primarily because of our cash balance. But we are always just one legislative. We're always just one legislative action away from being in deficit spending. There's two items that I made the board aware of. House Bill 349, it's Energize Ohio, and also there's a committee on property tax reform ballot on this right now. And depending on those committees and the actions they take, it could have a negative effect on our financial position. But keep your fingers crossed, those don't happen, and we keep heading down the financial health.
Okay. Hearing no other questions, let's proceed to vote.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Rubio?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes. Roman numeral 8, approve a 2-year administrative limited contract for Mandy McKelvey, an elementary school assistant principal, 212 days, step 0 of the administrative salary schedule effective August 1, 2024 through July 31, 2026. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Mrs. Green moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Overton, second. Any discussion?
I'll just say I'm thrilled for Mandy to be stepping into this role. She has served since 2016 as our high school counselor, and through that time, she has definitely proven herself as a leader. We've seen her in some difficult conversations with parents, her ability to problem solve. She's homegrown, she's from here, graduate, lives here, and so I'm just thrilled for her to step into this new role. I know Mr. Phillips is supportive of her. He might be a little sad, but we're thrilled for Mandy. She wanted to be here tonight. She is at the, is it districts track? What? I might be back. Is it districts tonight? So she is at the cross the track tonight.
Yes. Good. Let's proceed.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Overton?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes. Okay, Roman numeral 9, for the 2-year administrative limited contract for David Fogel, middle high school assistant principal, 212 days, step 0 of the administrative salary schedule, effective August 1, 2024 through July 31, 2026. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Overton moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Johnson, second. Any discussion?
Again, I'll just say I'm thrilled for David Fogel to come on board, so he's here in the front if you want to stand, Mr. Fogel. And so he's coming from Fairless, where he's been serving as the Dean of Students of their middle school. And so throughout the interview process, it was just a definite, he was our guy, so congratulations.
Great. After we vote. Let's vote.
Mr. Overton?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yeah, welcome. Thank you. Okay. Roman numeral 10, we have the leadership team reports sent out, but we'll ask those that are in attendance if there's anything in addition. So, Mr. Jason Phillips, anything in addition?
No, I was going to talk about Stomp, but you guys both hit it, so
Okay.
we're good. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Clemens?
Nothing new?
Additional? All right. Mr. Street?
The only thing I want to comment is that there's so many times in an interview process when you're like, man, I wish we could just hire both. And I was very thankful we had multiple positions open. So I know you're all familiar with Lauren Stotzer, who will be coming back and teaching 4th grade for us, and also Jordan Warhart, who's here tonight. They've both done excellent things for kids. They have experience elsewhere, and they're going to be bringing that to us. So just excited for them to join us and get to work.
Great. Yes, sir.
I would just like to make a comment to Corey if possible. I know, Corey, it wasn't just you. I know there was a lot of hands in the mix, but the closing ceremony at Mineral City was very, very nice. And thank you very much for doing that and all who worked for that. It was a nice fitting close. I heard from many people how thankful they were for the event and those who found it too hard to come. And they extended the welcome to come and just visit the building when it's empty if they needed to. So you might get some calls.
Okay.
Okay, and Mr. Pennell?
The only thing I have to add is, that, I mean, we'll be greatly missed Mr. Cornell.
Yeah.
Last day, Friday was his last day. Derek got to ride a bus with him, Dr. Ransky did, and it was very fitting, but he will be greatly missed. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. We have no public participation. The announcements, our next regular board meeting will be June 10th at 6 p.m. right here in the Elementary Trojan Center. And at this time, I will accept a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment. Do I have a motion to go into executive session? Mr. Overton, do I have a second?
I'll make that second.
Mrs. Green, seconds. So we move for vote?
Mr. Overton? Yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Yes. Well, there will be no action taken. Thank you all for coming.